Have you ever had that moment? That single second where your whole world just stops? Where the air freezes in your lungs and ice floods your veins? I have. It wasn't in a car crash or during some terrible news. It happened on what was supposed to be the happiest day. A day filled with sunshine, laughter, and the smell of popcorn. It happened at an amusement park. And it started the moment I realized my little boy was gone. My name is Sarah, and this is the story of the longest hour of my life. An hour that ripped my world apart, and then, somehow impossibly, pieced it back together with the help of someone I never ever expected to meet. We'd planned this trip for months. My son, Leo, was 6 years old. He was obsessed with superheroes, and anything that spun around really fast. The amusement park was his dream come true. Seeing his eyes light up that morning, wide with wonder at the giant roller coasters piercing the blue sky, that was everything to me. His small hand was sticky with candy floss, tucked tightly into mine. The noise was incredible, a symphony of delighted screams, cheerful music, and the rumble of rides. It was happy chaos. We went on the little spinning teacups first. His laughter was the best sound in the world. Then we tried the carousel, his face serious as he chose the proudest-looking horse. We shared a giant pretzel, salty and warm. It was perfect. Just a normal, wonderful day out. The kind you treasure. The kind you think nothing can spoil. How wrong I was. It happened near the giant Ferris wheel. It was so crowded there. People pushing, families rushing, kids darting everywhere. Leo was fascinated by a street performer juggling colorful balls. He pointed, his eyes huge. "Look, Mommy, look." I glanced over, just for a second, literally, a second, to see what had captured his attention so completely. When I looked back down, his hand wasn't there anymore. My heart didn't just drop, it plummeted, like a stone thrown off a cliff. "Leo?" I called out, my voice barely a whisper at first. I scanned the immediate area. He couldn't have gone far. He was right here. "Leo." A little louder now. Panic started to bubble, hot and sickening in my throat. People jostled past me. A sea of legs and strollers, bright colors blurred. The happy music suddenly sounded jarring, almost menacing. "Leo," I shouted, properly this time. My voice cracked, heads turned but no one stopped. They were all in their own happy bubbles. My bubble had just burst. He wasn't there. He wasn't behind me. He wasn't by the juggling man. He was gone. My little boy, my sweet trusting Leo, was lost in this overwhelming, noisy, enormous place. The next few minutes are a blur of pure animal panic. I started running, pushing through crowds, my eyes darting wildly. Every small child with dark hair made my heart leap, only to crash down again when I saw their face. "Have you seen a little boy?" I gasped at strangers, my voice trembling. About this tall, dark hair, blue shirt with a superhero. Some people shook their heads sympathetically, others just hurried past, caught up in their own day. A few looked annoyed that I'd interrupted them. Didn't they understand? My world had just ended. The park suddenly felt hostile. Every smiling face seemed like a mask. Every corner I turned held the terrifying possibility of nothing. Just more crowd, more noise. I ran towards the entrance of the Ferris wheel line. Maybe he'd wandered in there. No. Back towards the pretzel stand. No. My breath came in ragged gasps. Tears started streaming down my face, hot and blinding. "Leo, Leo." My screams were raw now, a mother's primal cry. Where could he be? He was only 6. He wouldn't just wander off far, would he? Thoughts crashed into my mind. Horrible thoughts. What if someone took him? What if he was scared? What if he was hurt? My legs felt like lead, but adrenaline kept me moving. I felt sick. I thought I might actually collapse. The noise of the park was deafening. The laughter felt like a personal insult. How could anyone be happy when my son was missing? I stumbled towards a park employee standing near a kiosk. He wore a bright, silly hat and a forced smile. "My son," I choked out, grabbing his arm. "I've lost my son, Leo. He's 6. The smile vanished. He looked concerned but also procedural. "Okay, ma'am. Calm down," he said, pulling out a walkie-talkie. "What was he wearing?" I repeated the description, my voice shaking so hard I could barely speak. "Blue shirt, superhero logo. Dark jeans, little red sneakers, dark, messy hair, big brown eyes that were probably filled with tears right now." "Oh God," He spoke into the radio, codes and locations I didn't understand. It felt slow, agonizingly slow. "We have units looking, ma'am. Standard procedure is to check lost parents near the main entrance." Lost parents? I wasn't lost. He was lost. But I nodded numbly. Okay, main entrance. Maybe someone had found him and taken him there. Hope flickered, fragile as a candle flame in a hurricane. The employee pointed the way. It felt like miles away. Every step was torture. I scanned every single face, every child, every adult holding a child's hand. Was that him? No. That one? No. The walk took forever. The park seemed to stretch endlessly. The happy music grated on my raw nerves. I felt a despair so deep it was physical, weighing me down. What if he wasn't at Lost Parents? What if the employee was wrong? What if he'd wandered out of the park? My mind conjured images I couldn't bear. Leo, alone and crying. Leo, frightened by the crowds. Leo. I couldn't even finish the thought. I had to find him. I had to. Finally I reached the Lost Parents building. It was a small, quiet building tucked away near the main gates. My heart hammered against my ribs. Please let him be here. Please, please, please. I burst through the door. A kind-faced woman sat behind a desk. A couple of other tearful parents were there. But no Leo. No little boy with messy dark hair and a superhero shirt. The fragile hope shattered. I felt my knees buckle. The woman behind the desk rushed over. "My son," I sobbed, collapsing onto a nearby chair. "He's not here." She tried to reassure me, told me they had alerts out park-wide. Security was searching. "They find lost kids all the time," she said. "Usually within the hour." An hour. It had already felt like a lifetime. An hour seemed like an eternity. What could happen in an hour? I sat there, numb, waiting, listening to the crackle of radios, hearing descriptions of other lost children. Time crawled. 5 minutes felt like an hour. 10 minutes felt like a day. Every time the door opened, my head snapped up, desperate. Every time it was someone else. The kind woman offered me water. I couldn't drink. She asked me more questions about Leo, his favorite ride, his personality. Was he likely to hide? Was he afraid of costumes? It felt like filling out forms while my house was burning down. Necessary maybe, but utterly agonizing. I closed my eyes, trying to picture him, trying to send him a message somehow. "Mommy's looking for you, baby. Stay put. Don't be scared." But all I could feel was the gnawing emptiness, where his hand should have been, the sickening dread that coiled in my stomach. Maybe 15 more minutes passed, or maybe it was 20. I don't know. Time had lost all meaning. All there was this terrible waiting, this thick, heavy silence in the small room, punctuated only by hushed voices, and my own ragged breathing. Suddenly, there was a different kind of crackle on the radio, a calmer voice, mentioning Sector 7, near the pirate ship area. A possible match for Leo's description, found by a guest. My head shot up. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. Pirate ship? That wasn't too far from where I lost him. A guest found him? Is it him? I whispered, my voice hoarse. The woman listened intently, then looked at me. Her eyes cautious but kind. "They think so, dear. Security is heading there now. A guest is with him, keeping him calm." A guest, a kind stranger. Thank God, thank God. Someone found him and stayed with him. Tears of relief started to well up, mingling with the tears of fear that hadn't stopped flowing. "Can I go there?" I asked, already getting up. "Security will bring him here. It's procedure," she started, but saw the look on my face, the sheer desperation. She nodded slowly. "Okay, let me get someone to escort you. Just stay calm." Calm? How could I be calm? But I nodded. Another park employee appeared, a young woman this time. She gave me a reassuring smile, and led me out of the Lost Parents building, back into the noise and chaos of the park. We walked quickly towards Sector 7. My legs were shaky, but moving with purpose now. Hope was back, stronger this time. Please let it be him. Please let him be okay. As we got closer to the pirate ship ride, a huge, gaudy wooden structure, I could see a small gathering of people. Not a huge crowd, but enough to make my stomach clench again. Security guards were there, keeping people back slightly. And then, I saw him, through a gap in the small crowd, standing near the railing of the pirate ship queue. His blue superhero shirt, his messy dark hair. It was Leo. A sob escaped my lips, loud and unrestrained. "Leo." He turned. His face was tear-streaked, his eyes red and wide.
but when he saw me, his expression crumpled into pure relief. "Mommy," I started running, pushing past the security guard, who tried gently to hold me back. Nothing could stop me. "Leo. Oh, my baby." He ran towards me too, stumbling a little, and then he was in my arms, solid, warm, real. I crushed him to me, burying my face in his hair, sobbing uncontrollably. Relief washed over me, in a tidal wave, so powerful it almost knocked me off my feet. "Oh, thank God. Thank God," I whispered over and over again, rocking him back and forth. "I thought I lost you. I was so scared." He clung to me tightly, his little body trembling. "I was scared too, Mommy. I couldn't find you." I held him away slightly, checking him over. He seemed okay, just frightened, terribly frightened. I kissed his tear-stained cheeks, his forehead, his nose. It was only then, as the initial wave of overwhelming relief began to subside, just a fraction, that I became aware of someone else, standing right there. Someone standing calmly beside Leo, who had clearly been with him, the guest who had found him. I looked up, my eyes still blurry with tears, ready to pour out my gratitude to this kind stranger, who had stayed with my son, and my breath caught in my throat. Again, standing there, looking down at us, with a gentle, slightly concerned smile, no, it couldn't be. He wore faded jeans, a plaid shirt layered over a t-shirt, boots, dark familiar sunglasses pushed up onto his forehead, a few silver rings on his fingers, a scarf loosely tied around his neck, even in the warmth, and that face, a face known across the globe. Johnny Depp. I blinked, rubbed my eyes. Was I hallucinating? Was the stress finally making me see things? He offered a small, reassuring smile. "He's okay," he said, his voice soft, calm, and instantly recognizable. "Just got a little turned around, I think." He was very brave. I stared. My mind struggled to connect the dots. My lost son, the terrifying search, the agonizing wait. And now, Johnny Depp had found him. Captain Jack Sparrow himself had rescued my Leo. Leo, still clinging to me, looked up at him. He held my hand, Mommy, so I wouldn't be scared. Johnny Depp gave Leo a little nod. "You did great, mate." I finally found my voice, though it was shaky.
I don't know how to thank you. I was going out of my mind." He waved a hand dismissively, looking slightly uncomfortable with the fuss. Anyone would have done the same. I saw him standing alone, looking distressed, asked him if he was okay, if he knew where his mum was. He glanced at Leo. He told me he lost his superhero partner. A small laugh escaped me, despite the tears still wet on my face. That sounded like Leo. "Thank you," I said again, meaning it with every fiber of my being. "Truly, you have no idea." The security guards were speaking quietly amongst themselves, looking a bit starstruck, but trying to remain professional. A small crowd had definitely gathered now, whispering and pointing, phones starting to appear. Johnny Depp seemed keen to deflect the attention. He knelt down slightly to Leo's level. "You stick close to your mum now, okay? She needs her superhero partner." Leo nodded seriously, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. "Okay. All right," Johnny Depp said, standing up and giving me another quick kind smile. "Glad he's safe and sound. You take care now." And just like that, with a quick nod to the security team, he seemed to melt back into the crowd, pulling a baseball cap lower over his eyes. One moment he was there, this incredibly famous, kind man, who had just eased the worst hour of my life, and the next he was gone, swallowed up by the bustling anonymity of the amusement park. I stood there for a moment, holding Leo tightly, trying to process the sheer surrealness of it all. The terror of losing him, the gut-wrenching fear, the absolute despair, followed by the overwhelming relief of finding him, and the utterly bizarre, unbelievable twist of who had found him. A security guard cleared his throat gently. "Ma'am, maybe we should head back towards the main entrance. Get you both some water?" I nodded numbly, still clutching Leo, as if he might disappear again. We walked away from the pirate ship, away from the lingering whispers and stare, back in the relative quiet of the Lost Parents building, sipping water while Leo drank juice and devoured a cookie the kind woman gave him. The reality started to sink in, not just the fear I had felt, but the kindness of a stranger, a very, very famous stranger. Yes, but in that moment, he wasn't a movie star. He was just a person who saw a little boy in distress and stopped to help. He didn't have to. He could have walked past. He could have alerted security and moved on, but he stayed. He held my son's hand. He kept him calm until I could get there. Leo, feeling safer now, started talking. He had cool rings, Mommy, and he talked funny, like a pirate. I hugged him again. He was very kind, wasn't he? Yeah, Leo murmured, leaning his head against my shoulder, suddenly exhausted. He said I was brave. You were brave, sweetheart, I whispered. You were so brave, and I was so grateful. We left the park soon after. The bright lights and cheerful music didn't feel threatening anymore, but the magic of the day was gone, replaced by a profound sense of relief, and a story that sounded like something out of a movie. That day taught me about the fragility of happiness, about the terrifying depths of a parent's fear. But it also taught me something else. It taught me about unexpected kindness. It showed me that even in a world that can sometimes feel chaotic and overwhelming, there are good people. People who will stop. People who will help. People who will hold a lost little boy's hand and tell him he's brave, even if they happen to be one of the most famous actors on the planet. It's a day etched into my memory, forever. The terror and the tears, yes, but also the quiet kindness of a man in a plaid shirt and a familiar face, who stepped out of the whirlwind of fame for a moment to help a frantic mother find her lost superhero partner. And for that, I will always be thankful. It's a reminder that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they wear scarves and silver rings, and find lost little boys near pirate ships. That hour changed me. It reminds me every day to hold my loved ones close, to appreciate every ordinary moment, and to believe in the kindness of strangers, no matter how famous they might be. Have you ever experienced an unexpected act of kindness like that, or faced a moment of sheer panic that turned out okay in the end? We'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, and subscribe to our channel for more real-life emotional stories. And don't forget to share this video with someone who might need a reminder that kindness exists, often where you least expect it. Thanks for listening.